this is a site-specific installation that I call Arboreal Soul. It is based on the past year of research and development here at Descanso Gardens, where I spent a lot of time walking around this beautiful garden setting and gathered leaves that I collected over the past several months. I would take the leaf and treat it so that it would not deteriorate, and then over time I developed and figured out what I wanted to do installing the show in this room. I have done many installations of these leaf patterns, these geometric patterns, these mandalas on the wall. I treat them so that they will not deteriorate, and I also then apply metallic leaf. For me, finding the pattern and then developing what that pattern is going to be unique for every single species has been a great joy. And then I apply the metallic foil to the leaf. There's a sort of pun of applying metallic leaf to a leaf, but it brings out this divinity, this sort of holy relic that the sacred patterns and the sacred designs of a leaf contains so much beauty. So to take the leaf and to give it a status of a religious type of relic or icon. I developed this piece thinking about the architecture of this room. You have this giant skylight type of fixture and these strange beams that go to the center light. And I was inspired by the canopy of the trees outside, the natural native scrub oak trees. So I designed this pattern to go with the architecture of the room. I like to design things site-specifically in that way. And I chose the color scheme of orange and pink as a contrast to some of the more green and natural colors that you'll see outside, but it's also reflective of the meditation that I would do, and you see imprinted on your eyelids the pattern of your capillaries. So it's evocative of your eyes and the capillaries of your eyelids, but also it's like the forest is hugging you. They're all interconnected, every single tree that I painted on the wall. And again, the bright color scheme is also indicative of biophotons, which are the very minute, the DNA of all of our molecules emits these very hard to, impossible to see by the human eye, but these biophotons exist on a very bright psychedelic color spectrum. So that was the basis. And then on top of that, I applied these beautiful sacred geometric patterns. Some of them I sketched out, and I also like to infuse my work with my background as a performance artist and improvisational performance artist. So there's a bit of improv that when I'm working with the leaves vary in size, so you're going to get subtle imperfections in the patterns. And so for me, it's important to respond to the moment as I'm installing it. This process of installing, I was blessed and gifted to have 2 weeks to take my time installing this exhibition. Of course, there were months of preparation involved in painting the leaves with the foils, but it's such a exciting pleasure to be able to spend time developing the work over the course of the period. The center of the gallery is an audience participatory experience. So there are leaf material, plant litter that has been gathered from the gardens that people can sit here, kneel on the different cushions that I made, and they can make their own patterns. In fact, there were just a bunch of kids in here earlier. So people can, make their own creations here. And they're invited to sit here, to relax, to think about when they're walking outside, they might have a different perspective on the world around them and see that anything can be art, that they can make art out of every material out there, and there's a never-ending supply of nature. These are redwood logs that were from the gardens. These trees fell during some recent storms, and I had the horticultural faculty cut them to specific lengths. I wanted to have two that were exposed so you could really see the beautiful pattern of the rings. For me, the mandalas on the walls are inspired by the ring patterns of a tree and the amazing history that is contained, that the trees are recording. And some of the logs I adorned with fiber art, so I also love to sew. I've been sewing my costumes for my performances for years. So I took some of the scrap material that I had left over from various costumes and created my own homages to the tree rings. So I wanted this room to just resonate with a lot of shimmering light. These are scrub oak branches that were gathered from the facilities that they were throwing out and disposing of. So I gathered some of them, treated them again with the metallic foil, and created this circle that hovers above the central platform, sort of like it's a beautiful altar space. And I just love that I was able to be given this opportunity to create something that I've wanted to do for a long time, to have, you know, time to develop. And I've done several iterations of this type of work where I gather leaves from around the gallery setting. So I'm bringing the outside in, and pinning these works individually to the wall is kind of I like to see it as a bit of acupuncture to the gallery. So I'm infusing the gallery with these beautiful patterns that will be embedded in the wall after I'm gone, and after they paint over and seal the wall, those pinholes will still be resonating with the space long after I'm gone. So my hope is to continue doing this type of work with different cultural institutions. I love the process of getting to know the trees and the different plants that are in the natural environment surrounding an institution, and then to be given an opportunity to create something site-specifically. It's something I really enjoy.